Feel like lucid be my dreams. Said you said he love me, so I'm sure you know the means. It's like I'm living all inside a movie in a dream. Sequels to my life entirely up to me. Slowly suffocating, do you notice how it feels? Baby, can you hold me while I'm running through the field like...
When you think of the term SoundCloud rapper, who comes to mind? Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, Lil Uzi Vert, Playboi Carti, Trippie Redd, maybe Lil Yachty? You probably...
Like I said, to me, the top three, to me, is Uzi, X, and Juice. I'm gonna get to it why after.
You think of face tattoos, colored hair. Maybe you think of it negatively, like being a SoundCloud rapper is a bad thing. Chances are you think of SoundCloud rap as something nostalgic, something that once was. With a slow and steady rise to popularity peaking in 2016 and 2017, SoundCloud rappers had their distorted bass and auto-tuned melodies permeating throughout the ears of listeners all over the internet. Misconceptions about SoundCloud rap have existed since the beginning. SoundCloud purists would argue that the ones who were the most popular in 2016 were actually just taking advantage of the work put in by the rappers before them. But in 2022, SoundCloud rap's grip on hip-hop culture has had a sad decline, making it about as relevant as it was in 2011. SoundCloud rappers were not exactly accepted with open arms by hip-hop in the beginning. In the early 2010s, it was clear that trap music and melodic...
SoundCloud's still the place to go for leaks though. Me, I be downloading them and adding them to local files. I just added like 40 fucking Juice leaks and like 20 Uzi leaks.
Rap were taking over, and the older generation could not accept it. This inspired a generation of young artists to create underproduced, bass-heavy, and melodic hip-hop and post it on a free-to-use music distribution website. Most of these artists focus on making feel-good music, and were not trying to create poetic masterpieces. They were just having fun, and the fans could feel it in the music, which is what made it so special. It was around 2016 when SoundCloud artists started to dominate the mainstream. Music from the likes of Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, Kodak Black, and 21 Savage piqued the interest of mainstream listeners. And although these are considered some of the legends of SoundCloud, they wouldn't exist without those who laid the foundation before them. Make sure you're drinking water while watching this video. I know you're thinking to yourself, man, that hoodie looks comfortable. I just released my first collection of clothing through my silk, commonly associated with starting the SoundCloud rap movement. But we can't talk about Raider Clan without talking about Odd Future. Yes, collectives and groups have been around in the hip-hop since the 80s, but Odd Future was truly ahead of its time in terms of influence. Led by Tyler, the Creator, the collective started with 6 of his friends in Los Angeles, California. They love 3 things.
Where the fuck is Frank Ocean, nigga?
In there too, which ended up being the 3 most important things to SoundCloud rap. Over the years, the group kept getting bigger and bigger. There's so many members, it's almost impossible to keep up with. Similar to the Wu-Tang Clan and Raider Clan, which we will get to. Odd Future started with an anti-industry attitude. Signing a record deal and being on popular radio and MTV was not the agenda they were pushing in 2009. Tyler would take shots at pop culture kind of like Eminem did a decade earlier. Obviously, they would go on to achieve massive mainstream success. TV shows, Grammys,
I'm sorry, this is like a whole different tangent. Yo, bro, to any of you niggas who don't understand, Eminem is such a fucking legend. Go back and listen to his first album, Slim Shady LP. Go listen to Marshall Mathers LP and Eminem Show. His shit now where he's rapping fast and he's like da 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 da. Niggas call it corny and shit. Bro, that's not Eminem. That's like saying Lil Wayne right now is Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Or that's peak Lil Wayne. Go back to this old nigga shit and see how fucking unhinged and wild this nigga was. Like, he was literally saying the craziest shit and niggas were scared to go at him because he would fry niggas. He literally would get into beef with niggas and end niggas' career. Even when he was, you could say he was washed up, he went against MGK and that nigga MGK switched genres. Any of you niggas trying to say MGK won that, you're smoking cock, nigga. I don't give a fuck. You're smoking dick. Gang. Like, MGK had wrote that diss like a year before earlier because they been had problems. Eminem responded in like a week. Got that nigga up out of here. Anyways. Go listen to this nigga's old shit. This nigga's a fucking legend, gang. He's a fucking legend.
Did a different lane that nobody had really capitalized on before, but initially, they were just a bunch of LA kids who used the internet to post their early creations to the world. Raider Clan, whether they admit it or not, kinda came second to OF. Odd Future had a much more colorful, bright, and fun image. Raider Clan maintained a much more gritty, underground, and definitely anti-pop culture attitude. Stylistically, aesthetically, and musically, they were nothing like Odd Future. Actually, they were kind of the opposite of Odd Future. They were just similar in the way of being an internet collective. Space Ghost Perp founded the Raider Clan in Carroll City, Miami, 2008, taking inspiration from the dark and ominous soundscapes of the early 90s group 3 6 Mafia. Don't be confused by the palm trees and sunny skies. It was dark growing up in Murder Gardens, so SGP used the music as therapy. Blackland Radio 66.6 became an iconic project that inspired a new generation of talent. SGP started getting love from creatives all over the country. Sid from Odd Future would even play his songs at their shows, which introduced the LA scene to him. He caught the likes of the ASAP Mob in New York. Perp famously flew up to New York and performed a candlelit seance, inducting ASAP Yams and ASAP Rocky into Raider Clan. Raider Clan was recruiting musical members all over the states, becoming a collective that was...
Bro, you see shit like that, like, I'm telling y'all niggas, this is what fucked up this... Why rap is where it is now.
He caught the likes of the ASAP.
This isn't just even the death of SoundCloud. This is death,
Perp famously flew up to New York and performed a candlelit seance, inducting ASAP Yams and ASAP Rocky.
Just look at this shit, gang.
Raider Clan.
Like, a lot of these niggas is deceased or don't even drop. Yo, the amount of people that we're gonna go through this video, you're gonna see are deceased, like have died and or are locked up. is about to be ridiculous. That's why rap is in the state it is.
Was
right
recruiting
now.
musical members all over the states, becoming a collective that was more of a cultural identity than it was an organized group of musicians.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna go into a tangent in a bit. So just
ASAP took a lot of creative
Wait a
influence from
second.
SGP.
I just
They
need
went
to
with
let
a
it
much
play for
darker
a bit.
sound, using the mythological lettering like the Raider Clan did, using chopped and screwed beats, deep pitch down vocals, wearing golds in their mouth, and embracing southern swag. Being from New York, this was a wildly different approach since most New York rappers were inspired by Nas, Biggie, 50 Cent, MF Doom, and others. The Raider Clan and ASAP Mob bond lasted what seemed to be 5 minutes. A fallout happened. There are a few different stories. Some say there was a fight. Some say Space Ghost Perp punched an ASAP camera guy. Either way, it was something small that probably could have been worked out very easily. But SGP would go on to claim that ASAP Rocky got his whole style and swag from him and Raider Clan. Even Playboy Cardi was taking sides with Raider Clan. That didn't age well. Space Ghost Perp was a bit volatile. He had a falling out with just about everyone he ever came in contact with. He was known for being extremely
RP,
bipolar.
MF
In true underground fashion, he claims that he was the first to do everything, and everyone bit his style. Yes, he was definitely influential, and I do agree
Yeah,
paying
he on his Kanye shit.
homage to those who came before you is very important. But trying to gatekeep and take credit for
He for sure bipolar. He
someone else's entire career
Kanye
just because
type
he
of
did something
activity.
similar before them is lazy and whack. The fallout with ASAP was terrible for the Raider Clan. The two groups had potential to be the biggest in the industry, but SGP's unpredictable nature and beefs ended up shortening the legacy of the group. And we know ASAP's legacy just got bigger and bigger. But ASAP's influence, and really everyone else that I'm about to talk about in this whole video, didn't just come from Raider Clan. It came from someone else I must mention, Lil B.
Oh my god, Lil fucking B,
Lil B's
nigga.
Like a Martian track in 2009
Holy
sounds
shit.
like what SoundCloud rap became in 2017. But at the time, the internet clowned him.
No, I ain't no bitch, and no, I ain't no snitch. I'm f***ing on that bitch.
The crunk era of the mid-2000s led to the swag era spearheaded by Soulja Boy and Lil B. Lil B's music was very punk in the way that he followed no rules of flowing, rhyming, or song structure. He prioritized ad-libs and made them louder in the mix. Then rappers all throughout the 2010s made careers off iconic ad-libs. He started the mentality of, I'm just having fun making music.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be lyrical. I'm not trying to impress anyone. He rapped
I don't care what a nigga say. That fit is
about
insane.
sleeping with your girl, being pretty,
That
and
fit is
having tons of
insane,
swag.
nigga.
Those were his priorities. This became the blueprint mentality for a lot of internet rappers for the next decade. But there was another side to Lil B. A lot of people thought he was just a joke, but he took himself very seriously. And because people hated him so much, he developed a cult-like fan base of people who loved him so much. He pushed a lot of positive messages. Be yourself, be confident, take care of the earth. Usually when he got into his deeper, more meaningful lyrics, it was complemented with an ethereal, dreamlike beat. This was the beginnings of cloud rap.
On the chair, ripping 15 and 16. Eyes breaking down the system. Nobody can tell me nothing.
Cloud rap is a spacey, hazy, and almost nostalgic sound that rap was missing at the time. Clams Casino was also one of the iconic producers that linked up with Lil B to help create this sound.
I'm sorry to pause it, but you're gonna see how many different like cloud rap, right? The reason why SoundCloud was so big and like why rap became the biggest genre during the 2016, 2017 era, even though all the old head niggas were getting mad and shit, is that I think rap fell back down. Like it's not number one anymore because you're gonna see why. But there was so many subgenres in rap that like it didn't matter if you were a nigga who liked fucking country. Niggas listen to Like a Farmer by Lil Tracy. It didn't matter if you were a nigga who liked heavy metal. You could listen to X. There was so many. All of these rappers, they took these genre. They created so many subgenres that it didn't matter what genre or style of music you liked. You would be able to fuck with a rapper's music. You know what I mean? They brought a certain type of versatility to rap that we haven't seen before, and all the niggas who brought it died. And then it went back to being
Cloud rap
generic.
would end up being this blend of the cloud rap ethereal sound and the dark gritty 3-6
It went back to being the most generic it's ever been in history, actually.
influence sound, and sprinkle in some emo in there too. I also feel like I have to mention this. At this point, around 2010 and 2011, these guys weren't only on SoundCloud. In fact, it wasn't really that popular yet. They used basically any streaming service that was out there to get their music heard, DatPiff being one of the most popular, and eventually SoundCloud and YouTube would become their main platforms, but the culture and the essence of SoundCloud rap and internet rap is what they were composing at the time. 16-year-old Denzel Curry was one of the first artists to be welcomed into the Raider Clan in 2011 after his debut mixtape, King Remembered, Underground Tape, 1991 to 1995. Denzel is one of the true SoundCloud OGs that deserves more respect. Although his music was dark, aggressive, and at times depressing, he was a very positive and welcoming individual. He wasn't afraid to show love to the people who were doing dope shit. He started with Raider Clan, stayed cool with the Sesh Hollow Water Boys, showed love to Ghostmane and Thrax House and the emo rap scene, embraced X, Ski Mask, and Members Only, way before any of them were even popular. From 2011,
he was in Raider Clan. He fell out with Space Ghost Perp. I feel like Space Ghost Perp is like a perfect example of why mental health is so important. Like Space Ghost Perp would be a fucking super. Like he would be so fucking lit right now, but because he was having these manic episodes and he has a bipolar shit going on, he sabotaged a lot of the relationships that would have had him at that level. Like he would be so successful right now. He's literally not huge, not because he didn't have the talent to be or the opportunity to be. It was strictly off of mental health.
to 2018, he embraced all the
crazy.
newcomers in the SoundCloud scene while still having a very successful career himself. And obviously now he's pretty mainstream. In my opinion, he is the purest form of a SoundCloud rapper. Raider Clan didn't last very long due to the bipolar nature of Space Ghost Perp, but at that point, they had already inspired a new generation of artists that were about to take over the underground. From 2012 to 2015, we saw the emergence of SoundCloud artists that don't nearly get as much credit as they deserve. You had Bones and Sesh Hollow Water Boys, Chris Travis, Xavier Wolf, Metro Zoo, Young Simi, Black Cray and Goth Money, JK the Reaper, Jay Green, Rob Banks, Young Lean and the Sad Boys, Wicca Phase and Goth Boy Click, Lil Tracy, Lil Peep, Suicide Boys, Puya, Wi-Fi's Funeral, Thousand Band Fawny, and so many more. There are truthfully way too many influential artists to name, so no matter what, like, somebody's gonna be mad in the comments because I didn't name somebody specific. But these are the real SoundCloud rappers. These guys were traveling the country, doing shows, making music together, and building real fan bases, all from posting music on this website, and without the music industry really knowing about it. The only marketing they did was on Twitter, YouTube, and Tumblr. It was almost like this secret club that only people who spent hours on the internet knew about. Xavier Wolf was actually one of the first artists to get paid from SoundCloud, since his following was so strong there. They reached out to him and personally invited him to be in the first paid partner program. The music was still underproduced, distorted, and not really ready for mainstream listeners. These were all kids in their rooms on FL Studio and USB microphones, not in fancy studios. But their intentions were always to be different, to be anti-mainstream, to create a unique identity. Blowing up was never their concern. Just create a sound that people resonate with and hopefully make a living doing it. It started as just people who were fans of Bones or fans of Denzel Curry or fans of Sesh Hollow Water Boys, and now there are fans of the underground, fans of SoundCloud rappers, people looking to discover more artists on this site. The early artists laid the blueprint for the next artist to follow. No industry push. They weren't secretly signed to a major league.
You remember that nigga?
The SoundCloud rapper.
This nigga was an insane industry plant. Oh my god, I'll never forget that nigga.
Before it was a trend.
What's the name? Jumex?
2015 and 2016 was a turning point for SoundCloud. Most people consider this the golden age. The interest in SoundCloud was at an all-time high because of the artists that we're about to mention. These artists get most of the credit for SoundCloud rap because the music released in these 2 years would go on to be the most popular records to come from the site. White Iverson by Post Malone, a SoundCloud song that would have...
Yo, Post Malone is a nigga who pissed me off, bro. Because, bro, he got on through hip hop and then swapped his whole style and then started doing country shit. Bro, Post Malone to me could be insane. Like, he's huge, right? But like, bro, I feel like he could be like such a premier rapper in the game. This nigga done switch up his whole shit, bro. Like,
eventually peak at number 14 on the Billboard
Hot
100.
Bro.
No Flockin' by Kodak Black. Lil Uzi Vert's Love Is Rage album. Denzel Curry's Ultimate. Fetty and What by Playboi Carti. Uber Everywhere by Made in Tokyo. Paris by Suicide Boys. You also had the beginning of the underground's most popular media outlet, No Jumper. At this point, there wasn't one solidified go-to place to learn about this music.
Okay, I'm gonna get on tangents, bro. Listen to me. I feel like Adam 22 ruined No Jumper's brand by doing the shit he did with his girl gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like that shit ruined No Jumper's brand because you have to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to understand that like rap is a thing that's based on your image and your persona, right? And if niggas view you like a goofy, they don't respect you, that should go out the window. I feel like him doing that shit with his girl and you trying to crack jokes about it and make it seem like it's funny and shit, it ruined his shit. Like, it ruined the No Jumper brand. So now all he does is he goes and interviews random gang members in LA and like upcoming gang members in LA, all type of shit. You don't see niggas like the upcoming artists who are next up going on No Jumper anymore. Like, back then, Juice WRLD was on No Jumper, Trippie Redd, X, all of these niggas were on No Jumper. These are like the premier artists who are going to No Jumper. You don't see a Yeet going to do a No Jumper. I could be wrong, maybe he did, but as far as I remember, I don't remember no fucking a Yeet going to do No Jumper. I don't remember a Ken Carson going to do No Jumper or Destroy Lonely to go do a No Jumper. I don't remember any new artist who you consider who's an upcoming artist. Like, you don't see them doing it because they don't respect this nigga no more. Like, him doing that shit, yeah, it brought in some bread off of the OF shit, but it low-key ruined like the image behind No Jumper because you look at the nigga who's running it as a cuck. You know what I mean? I feel like that shit kind of fucked No Jumper up, bruh.
Sure, there were tons of blogs, but something about the YouTube IRL...
This is hip-hop, nigga. Like, your respect and image goes a long way in this shit, bro.
Interviews makes things so real. You get to see the artists and really get a vibe for them. BMX and SoundCloud were intertwined. A lot of popular BMX riders would use Bones and Team Sesh music in their videos. In 2015, Adam 22 had a following of a few 100,000 from his own BMX videos. He used that following to introduce the BMX community to the world of underground rap, not knowing how popular it would get. Interviewing just about anyone who had a following on SoundCloud, No Jumper satisfied the right niche at the perfect time, increasing the interest in the underground music scene as a whole very rapidly. 2016, you had One Night by Lil Yachty, Sippin' Tea and Yo Hood, Young Brats. Basically all of X's songs blew up, along with Ski Mask and members only. Lil Peep with Star Shopping and the Hellboy tape. 21 Savage with
Fire.
Red Ops and the Savage Mode tape. We also had Lil Pump and Smoke Perp getting popular on their first few releases. Trippie Redd
Their
with
shit
Love
was
Scars
fire
and his
too,
first
I'm not gonna lie. Back
creations.
then.
The amount of music dropped on SoundCloud in these 2 years that is now considered legendary is incredible. A lot of these 2015 and 2016 artists I just mentioned were getting mainstream attention within just 2 years of making music. There was such a huge influx of new fans of X, Ski, Peep that they never really cared to look back on how these guys got to this level, how this SoundCloud platform really started, and how the artists before them paved the way. I'm not trying to say they don't deserve success or the SoundCloud legend status, but from an elitist standpoint, the new guys didn't grind on the platform the same way the artists from 2012 did. The platform was established already. The community was built. Plus, a lot of the SoundCloud OGs at this point embraced new artists and tried to help them grow. Denzel Curry had a house where he let artists like X, Ronnie J, and 10 others live with him.
We had this thing called the ULT house, and not just X lived there. Ronnie J lived there with me. 12 Lynn, JK the Reaper.
So they could make music 24/7 and be immersed in this world, just because he wanted to show love. On the other hand, you could also argue that the first generation artists didn't make anything that the mainstream wanted. Maybe the new generation was just making better, more marketable music. Maybe you think they don't owe the SoundCloud OGs anything. Regardless, the music was very good, and their intentions were still pure. Most of the 2015 to 2016 era of SoundCloud still held the same values as most of the OGs, creating
That
a
nigga
unique
Diatti
sound,
got his
showing
teeth
love to
done
other
for
people,
sure.
and prioritizing the fans. Some of the craziest shows
I
were
would've
happening around this
too,
time
fuck.
too. Small venues packed to the gills, and the fans know every word to the songs. With the rise in popularity of these new generation SoundCloud artists led
Oh
to the
my god,
iconic
Dex. Holy fuck. Dex is another example of a nigga who I think he would have been up there because his flow, the way he rapped, it was so different, and his ad-libs, but he just got so fucked up off of drugs, gang. His style when it comes to getting you hype was different, bro, but he was too fucked up off of the drugs.
2016 XXL Freshman Cypher. For those that don't know, the XXL Freshman list is a major hip-hop news outlet giving a small group of about 6 to 10 artists a cosign, basically stating that they represent the future of mainstream rap. They are supposed to be the cutting-edge talent that will be household names.
Classic. Everyone talks about 2016, so I feel like it's overstated, but I feel like that the next year, 2017, was very slept on. I ain't
then the
gonna lie.
next-
Like, not even slept on, no. That one was huge too, but I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough in a conversation with 2016. It was amazing as well. Like, this shit was crazy.
Year or
bro.
so. And boy was this cypher iconic. Traditionally, the
crazy,
cypher
back
was
to
to
back.
rap for the world and to show them your best, to prove that you deserve the audience's attention. But with a terrible beat and 6 artists that do not give a single fuck about the platform, you had all of them bopping around, dancing, laughing, and just having a good time. The hip-hop elitists hated this.
Yeah, I know when Kodak said that, the fucking DJ was
Or
hurt,
they
nigga.
disrespect or disregard such a high honor of being a freshman. But the kids loved it. They loved the I don't give a fuck attitude, and it started a shitstorm. The gatekeepers or old heads didn't understand why kids liked the music so much. They were still trying to dictate what popular hip-hop should be.
Bro, it wasn't even strictly just that. Like, that it was like, oh, I don't give a fuck. It was so much versatility, bro. Like, Uzi did not sound like Lil Pump. Lil Pump did not sound like Kodak. Kodak did not sound like Yachty. Yachty did not sound like fucking Cardi. Cardi did not sound like fucking Ugly God. Ugly God did not sound like Lil Pump. Lil Pump did not sound like fucking Famous Dex. Famous Dex did not sound like 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine did not sound like NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy didn't sound like Famous Dex. Like, it was so much versatility, nigga.
Rap, a term that also became synonymous with SoundCloud rap. It was always a
And some of these niggas were mixing genres to get, like, they were creating subgenres. So you were hearing all these different type of sounds that you
terrible
fuck
name for
with,
this
gang.
style, and unfortunately kind of became a real genre name. The internet started this term, but it was first said in 2014 by Michael Hughes of Vlad TV.
Emergence of mumble rapping, and it's been going on for a couple years.
Then in 2016, it was popularized by Wiz Khalifa.
So we're just rock stars.
We call it mumble rap.
And you know what's crazy? These niggas didn't even really mumble like that. Like, a lot of, you go back to listen like Lil Pump and like a lot of Uzi songs, a lot of the shit they said was pretty clear. Not the way niggas be rapping now, nigga. Holy
So
shit.
y'all got a name for it?
Yeah, me and my homies.
It was very harmless coming from Wiz, but the cranky old hip-hop fans would use this word to devalue the music coming from all new rappers.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. I'm a mumble rapper. Lil Yachty, you don't want nothing too.
Maybe these artists didn't care as much about having crazy bars or intricate lyrics, but they weren't always mumbling. God, I always hated that term. By 2017, SoundCloud rap had already peaked, and many of the artists are mainstream. Kodak, 21, X, Lil Yachty, Uzi, Playboi Carti, and many others are now signed with major labels. There was still great SoundCloud music being put out in 2017, don't get me wrong, but at this point it's hard to consider them SoundCloud rappers when they are doing their releases through major labels. Plus, SoundCloud is getting absolutely flooded
That's where we give X his fucking credit. I'm gonna get to X in a
with
second.
nonsense. Every teenager that has a laptop and a USB microphone were trying to recreate Lil Pump's
Watch,
music
I'm gonna
because
break
they thought
everything
he
down.
can say Gucci Gang in the mic a million times, then I can too. Labels were paying attention to anyone who had one semi-viral song on there and try to capitalize on the movement. There were still a few artists that were gems in there though. It was in 2017 where the early works of Juice WRLD, Lil Skies, and Snot were starting to get recognition, who in my opinion were on the tail end of the SoundCloud era. It was also
Yeah.
in 2017 where we saw the rise of Lyrical Lemonade. Cole Bennett was providing cutting-edge visuals to his
Cole Bennett's run was fucking insane.
favorite
gang.
SoundCloud rappers' music. Now SoundCloud rap was taking over YouTube. Lil Pump, Lil Xan, Ski Mask, Trippie Redd, Lil Skies music videos were going viral on YouTube. Cole Bennett was providing better and more interesting visuals than most music industry professionals, and he was doing it for non-mainstream artists. I personally believe Cole's visuals helped people maintain interest in the SoundCloud scene for the next few years while it was
Yeah.
dying out. At one point, a Cole Bennett video could make you a career. Shit, it might still even.
Nigga, you went out, my nigga. You went and did a, not even at one point it could make you career. Nigga, if you went and did a Cole Bennett video, nigga, you're lit. My nigga. You go sign, nigga, you go ask a nigga, would you rather your song have 1 million streams or get a Cole Bennett video? You take the Cole Bennett video. Nigga, you do a Cole Bennett video back then, you're lit, nigga.
Be like that. Image and fashion became
You're
synonymous
lit.
with SoundCloud rappers. Instagram was growing at an incredible rate and was transforming into a place where people just post pictures of themselves instead of
You're
other
lit
stuff.
back now.
Instagram became the new popular way for artists to connect directly with their fans, and it is still today probably the #1 social media for artists. But it was also becoming the #1 app for your sister and the popular kids at school to post selfies and gain followers. So artists having a high engagement and interest allowed them to reach a more mainstream fan base again without a major label. Image has always been a part of being an artist, but now Instagram likes, comments, and overall engagement was becoming a way for us to judge how popular or relevant an artist was without even hearing their music. This led to artists growing fan bases on Instagram who had the image down, but not the musical talent to back it up. Hair was getting more colorful, face tats were getting more ridiculous, and it was almost like whoever looked the craziest got the most attention, which was oversaturating the market and making it hard for real talent to shine through, and making it harder for the mainstream to take it
I don't agree with that. I honestly don't agree with that.
seriously. SoundCloud rap always
Because yeah, it was mad niggas getting face tats and doing shit like that, but none of it actually translated to like half of those niggas they just showed, except for maybe 6ix9ine. Like who did they just show? None of those niggas shit really translated to any real success musically.
kind of had a negative connotation amongst mainstream media and even from YouTubers and other video creators. They were an easy punching bag. I even did it. I think the old heads really did a good job pushing their hate agenda, because if you look up SoundCloud rapper, most of the results will be negative or satirical. There was a time where simply drawing on your face with a Sharpie and yelling simple ad-libs into a camera was a viral video. How to be a SoundCloud rapper was probably the most recreated video of 2017, 2018. People who were negative towards SoundCloud rappers were definitely overreacting. We got a ton of awesome melodic rap artists out of that era. However, Lil Pump, Lil Xan, 6ix9ine, Icy Narco, Kid Buu, Skinny from the Nine. I mean, yeah, a lot of bad or mediocre artists got popular. But the
I wouldn't say, like, honestly, I don't think Lil Pump or 6ix9ine, I feel like their shit was hype shit. Like, it was valid at the time. I still think some of 6ix9ine's songs are probably valid. Like, these other niggas, though, I don't know.
Narco, Kid Buu, Skinny from the Nine. I mean, yeah, a lot of bad or
Like,
mediocre artists.
This is the thing. I see Narco and, like, Skinny from the Nine and, like, Kid Buu weren't actually lit. Like, their shit wasn't, they weren't actually lit. Lil Xan did have a 1-2 song. He did have a couple songs. I ain't gonna lie.
Popular. But to even put them in the same category is disrespectful. That's like me saying Vanilla Ice, Marky Mark, and Silk the Shocker are what represent 90s rap. The deaths of multiple popular SoundCloud rappers did not help the wave either.
I'm gonna
Lil Peep
break
was
this
one of
shit
the
down.
earlier artists to see massive success from the site, but his death came just before he got mainstream attention. He was one of the first artists that I had ever seen go super viral because of their death. His fame 10x'd overnight. Just 7 months later, XXX.
Okay, let me talk about Lil Peep for a second. I'm not a nigga who was a super Lil Peep fan. I do have a couple of his songs in my playlist, and I did fuck with his shit. Niggas trying to downplay him and say this nigga, oh, he was ass. Like, this is what I'm saying, where people don't understand that these people like Lil Peep were very instrumental to the culture, because you might not listen to Lil Peep music. You might want to listen to YoungBoy talk about drilling some shit, right? But Lil Peep was instrumental because there was a group of niggas, a community of niggas who they don't fuck with YoungBoy. And just Peep being in this genre and making the music he did brought a whole different audience to rap. Another aspect of what pushed rap to being #1, the biggest genre. Mac Miller, you might not listen to Mac Miller, but Mac Miller, he brought a whole different community that probably don't want to listen to Lil Durk, No Auto. He brought a whole different community that specifically fuck with his style and his sound of music, and brought them into rap, which made rap bigger and bigger and bigger, and allowed for labels to start putting out more money towards niggas and investing more into other artists and paying more for producers and willing to put down bread to get collab features and shit. It allowed all of these people played instrumental roles in the genre expanding and make better music coming out.
Tentacion.
This nigga, oh my god, don't even get me started on it. I'm gonna get on a tangent about this
but
nigga
his
too.
death came just before he got mainstream attention. He was one of the first artists that I had ever seen go super viral because of their death. His fame 10x'd overnight. Just 7 months later, XXXTentacion passed away. X was much more famous than Peep when he passed. His death, being gunned down in his hometown, shocked the world. He got even more famous because of it. At that point, he easily was the poster child for SoundCloud rap. He represented what SoundCloud was, but still took it to mainstream heights. He was an internet-based punk who had a raw, in-your-face attitude with a soft side as well. He had the look, he had the drive, he was super talented and creative, and he connected with with his fans the right way, through the internet, and he made sure that they knew that they weren't just a dollar sign. He was positive and showed love to almost anyone. His single Sad hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 the week after he died, making him the first rapper to do this since the Notorious B.I.G. in 1997. He was the 9th person to go #1 posthumously ever, and he was the 3rd most streamed artist of 2018. The 2 future superstars.
And I have to break this nigga down. He has the highest streamed album in Spotify history, and I think the 1st and 5th. Now I'm gonna get in a tangent about this nigga, and I kind of talked about it before. If you are a nigga who is 15 right now, you don't understand how lit this nigga was when he was here, gang. You don't. Cause I was like 14 when this nigga was going crazy. So 8 years ago, right? 9 years ago. If you were 15 now, you were 6 when this nigga was going crazy. You actually have no idea what this nigga was doing. This nigga, his trajectory was fucking insane, my nigga. Like where Cardi is right now, X was there back then at 20. Like I need y'all niggas to understand that. I went on this tangent before, but I'm gonna go on it again. This nigga X came out of jail 2017. I remember this shit like it was yesterday. He came out of jail, I think April of 2017. 2-3 months later, dropped 17 with no label, only a distribution deal, almost does 100K. He dropped the same day Uzi dropped Love Is Rage 2. Uzi does like 130K. This nigga does like almost 100K. He does like 90K with just a distribution deal. Not to mention, everyone, when he was blowing up in jail, everyone was saying, yo, this nigga's only lit because he screams. All he does is scream and mumble rap. So this nigga came out of jail and said, I'm gonna show these niggas I'm an artist. I'm gonna show them I'm versatile. So he made a whole album, his debut project, in the whole opposite sound that got him lit. No other nigga would do that. And still did not drop the same day as the biggest new age artist at the time. Still did damn near 100K with no label. Follows it up with less than a year later, drops Question Mark. Has some mumble rap shit. Has some rock shit, has some indie shit on it, has some love songs on it, Spanish songs on it, EDM, he's doing EDM, rock, and then some lyrical shit. Put all of that on an album for Question Mark, dropped it and did like 140,000 first week with no label, just a distribution deal, nigga. 140K first week, no label, just a distribution deal. To put that into perspective for you, Thug been signed to a label and has never done that, has never sold that much. This nigga did that less than a year into the game at 20 years old. Like, I want you to know this trajectory this nigga was at. To put it into more perspective for you, Cardi dropped Die Lit later that year, which a lot of niggas think is his best album, and did 70K. Did half of X's numbers with a full label backing him, with a Nicki Minaj feature, Uzi feature, I think, was it Bryson Tiller feature? He had mad niggas on that album. That's how big this nigga was. Where Cardi is now is like where that nigga was back then, nigga. I need y'all niggas to understand that. Like, he was going to be, to me, I'm keeping it 100. At the time, and for the majority, bro, Uzi was my favorite. I remember X passing up Uzi like only less than a year into the game. I remember the nigga passing up Uzi. And Uzi was my favorite at the time. Like, I'm telling you, I remember him passing up Uzi, nigga. This nigga was going to be running shit. I'm telling you, I could have seen this nigga. He doing 500K first week. Like, them type of numbers. I'm telling y'all niggas, bro. You just wasn't there. You weren't there. Like, you don't remember. You weren't there. If you're a little ass nigga, you weren't there. This nigga was one of them ones, gang. And, like, what else? Bro, the nigga was mad versatile, bro. He was making genres in every... He was making music in every genre, putting them on an album and going #1 with no label. Nobody's doing that. Like, niggas be like, Kanye does that. Kanye don't do that. Kanye will rap on a rock beat or rap on a, you know, a heavy metal beat, but he's still rapping. This nigga would actually make, like, a heavy metal song. Like, this nigga was different, and him dying fucked up. Like, bro, everything got thrown off after that. I'm telling y'all niggas. Because you can't put it into words and explain to a nigga how lit this nigga would have been. Like, I'm sorry to go on this tangent, but look at like a nigga like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose tore his ACL. Niggas will go back, look at his stats, and see he put up 25 points per game and be like he wasn't doing shit. But niggas don't understand that. Back then, 25 points compared to now is way higher. And then on top of that, he had his team the 1 seed over the Heat and the Lakers with Kobe and the Spurs with fucking Tim and all them niggas. Like, but people would downplay him now. They don't understand what the fuck that nigga was doing back then. You couldn't tell niggas what X would have been if they just wasn't there to see it. You know what I mean? It's like Drake. Let me use Drake as an example. Drake was in the same exact situation X was in. Nigga ran up to his car, pulled a gun on him, asked him for his bag and shit, and he gave it up. In another reality, that nigga shoots Drake that night. And he dies. This was like 2010, 2011, right? There's another reality where a nigga shoots him and he dies. Any nigga who would have said, every nigga who was seeing Drake come up at that time knew that that nigga was going to be one of them ones. But had Drake died that night, any nigga who came and said, yo, that nigga Drake was going to outsell the Beatles, that nigga was going to be litter than Wayne, they would call you fucking crazy and say you're only glazing the nigga because he died. I'm telling you. If you had told niggas, if Drake had died that night and we were telling niggas, yo, that nigga would have been bigger than Wayne, that nigga would have been bigger than, he would have more slaps than the Beatles. He'd be one of the biggest artists of all time. Niggas would have said you're dick rotting him because he died and you're glazing him. I'm telling you. This nigga
dying prematurely started the decline of SoundCloud rap in the mainstream.
Yup. What did I just say? I'm sorry to go on that
Juice WRLD is the
tangent, but I
most
need to break
famous
it down
artist
to
to come
niggas,
from
bro.
SoundCloud. He kind of was the last hope for the scene. X was the poster child, and when he passed, you had literally every kid in the world finding out about who he was and where he came from. Juice had already been generating some steam though. 1 month before X passed, Lucid Dreams by Juice had debuted number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Juice,
The
another
night
one.
X died, Juice was in the studio. He made a song called Legends, dedicated to the legacy of Lil Peep and X. He posted it the next day on SoundCloud. This song debuted at number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100. I know it was genuine, but he essentially gained a ton of new fans by making a song about the artist who just passed away. Juice and X were friends, and now all of the music fans were grieving X's death
that's a
with
fake
Juice
pic.
via
That's
his
a
song
fake
Legends. His music was almost like healing power for the fans who loved X. Fans romanticized the idea of Juice being passed down the SoundCloud torch from X, and he continued to build his own legacy. He made a wildly successful career for himself. For the next year and a half, Juice WRLD took emo rap to the mainstream. His hooks were infectious, and lyrics were very simple and relatable. In 2018, I was more tapped into SoundCloud than I ever had been, and trust me when I say, everyone was trying to copy Juice WRLD's sound. Look how popular the search Juice WRLD type beat got as soon as he hit Billboard. In 2018, SoundCloud rap was still being clowned on by the old heads. Juice
WRLD, another one. He would, to me, Juice WRLD the only one who would have been able to compete with X right now. Both alive. Juice, another nigga, I think would be selling like 500. No, Juice literally sold 500K first week. I know y'all niggas want to say, oh, posthumous release. Posthumous, when you die, you do get a lot of attention for like the first year. After that year, it dies off and you end up actually getting less numbers than you would have done if you were still alive, because you're not there to promote your music, you're not there to shoot music videos, you're not there to perform and connect with the fans. That's why you see Juice's new albums, one did like 100K, one did fucking like, I think that his recent one, The Party Never Ends, that shit did like 80K. When Juice was alive, his albums never did that low. Juice did 165K first week. So you're gonna tell me he benefited because he died for one album, maybe. But he would have eventually got there because all of those people who went to check him out because he died, listened to his music and fucked with him. Those people, had they listened to his music before he died, they would have fucked with him. But he wasn't on long enough to build up that reach to even have those niggas find out who he was. But he would have got there eventually. You see what I'm saying? Like, he would have been there. So the whole thing about, oh, niggas dying and that's the only reason, maybe initially they'll get a boost, but it's not the boost niggas think. Eventually it ends up being worse. Like, if that was the case, why is every nigga not doing fucking 500K first week? Why is every nigga not selling insane fucking numbers like these two niggas were? Juice to me is the only nigga that would have even that would have been able to compete with X when it comes to like out of the new niggas. The only thing like that I think maybe even Juice, the only way Juice to me would have even been bigger. No, the thing that makes me think Juice could have possibly been bigger commercially is because of the allegations X had. But I think X probably would have ended up being the better artist. I'm sorry, niggas gonna get mad, but I fuck with them both heavy. I have like 300 Juice leaks on my fucking phone. I have X leaks. I have fucking Uzi leaks. I have it all. But if I'm going prime peak, I think X might have. I don't know, bro. And X was versatile, so he would have been able to cultivate people of every audience. The problem with Juice is he could really fucking rap, but the nigga would if his leaks, this nigga's rapping like he's out rapping 90% of these niggas. But in his songs that he would release, it was always sad shit. So you got the feeling like, yo, all this nigga does is make sad music when he didn't. I think that's what brought X over him, because he wasn't dropping his hype shit. I think X would have had a good versatile mix, and that would have got niggas hype. X got the whole narrative that he was the nigga who made sad music, but he literally did it because niggas were like, oh, you only scream. When he came out of jail, niggas like, oh, he only screams and he only makes turn up shit. So he's like, let me show y'all niggas I'm versatile, and then he died. So like, it's like if Drake dropped that dance album, Honestly Nevermind, and then like I said before, and he died, and then niggas start saying, yo, Drake just made dancing music. That's all he made. Like, that's what the fuck happened to X, my nigga.
SoundCloud rapper was an insult for no good reason. Gimmicky type artist careers were going south, and emo rap wasn't the most refreshing or exciting genre in terms of the gatekeepers. The industry made it worse by trying to push these artists through their multi-million-dollar empires while disguising them as SoundCloud rappers. Most of SoundCloud became a place where young artists were trying to capitalize on an opportunity.
See what I'm saying? These niggas had labels backing them to try and replicate what Juice and X were doing, and they couldn't do it. Money was being put behind them. They couldn't outperform. They couldn't replicate these niggas. And X was a nigga who didn't even sign to a label. Like when he dropped 17 question mark, he didn't have an album out with a label. He just had a distribution deal. I think after he dropped question mark, he signed a deal and then he died. So that's why you see they keep dropping shit and merchant shit trying to make back their money.
Trying to become famous rather than contributing to the culture. It was once a place to cultivate a community, collaborate and innovate against the industry standard, to go against the grain and build independence. By 2018, it morphed into a place where artists were posting their best replicated versions of popular songs in attempts to go viral. And obviously there are outliers. There are always going to be people creating a wave and doing something innovative on there. I spent a large part of my early career sifting through the weeds trying to find dope songs and dope artists, and I found a lot of them. A lot of great artists that are still my friends to this day. But throughout 2019 and beyond, it became significantly harder to find a diamond in the rough. Plus, SoundCloud as a company failed to capitalize on their wave. The biggest reason is because they were fighting to try to become a profitable company since 2011. It was a free platform. They introduced a premium service for artists so they could upload much more audio. That didn't really help much. They had loads of copyright issues when major labels stepped in. Songs were getting removed for no good reason, popular accounts were getting banned, and artists were getting copyright strikes on their pages. Then they introduced a very complicated paywall system, SoundCloud Go, with 6 different tiers that were...
This was the problem with SoundCloud. SoundCloud could have easily been profitable. SoundCloud was actually the best platform to be on. I don't remember if they didn't have mainstream artists on their shit. All SoundCloud had to do was roll out a monthly plan. Now, I'm in a different country, so their plan was way more than this for me. All they had to do was roll out a monthly plan, you can listen to Drake, you can listen to mainstream artists on there. I would have bought SoundCloud back then over Spotify and Apple Music because you have all these underground niggas and then you have the mainstream niggas on top of that, and the price is relatively the same. I would have been on SoundCloud way more. But the problem with SoundCloud is that, bro, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure their shit was like $15 a month or some crazy shit. Like it was way more than like Spotify and other shit. So it didn't make sense for, you know, it was overpriced. That's right. I think they fucked up.
They had half the amount of major mainstream releases than Spotify, so you couldn't listen to artists like Rihanna, Katy Perry.
And then they were missing a lot of mainstream niggas. Now I checked recently, and they do have mainstream niggas, but like now it's late. The SoundCloud era, the main niggas who were pushing it passed away. You know what I mean? So
Perry and the Beatles. A lot of those artists are on SoundCloud now, but by the time they had figured that out with major labels,
see what I'm saying?
It was past its peak. But the ultimate thing, above all else, is that SoundCloud was always looked at as a stepping stone, the beginning of a career, something to move on from, not where careers prosper. And what the masses perceive is reality. December 8th, 2019, at 3:15 a.m., the world lost a generational artist. 21-year-old Jared Higgins, aka Juice WRLD, sadly passed away via overdose while getting off his private plane at Oaklawn Airport just outside of Chicago. And with his death, I believe that SoundCloud rap as a whole passed away with him. Now, 3 iconic SoundCloud artists lost their lives too soon. Peep was just on the cusp of fame when he passed. X was about to hit his peak fame when he passed. And Juice WRLD was peaking in his fame when he passed. There was nobody to pass the torch to this time. I mean, from 2019, you definitely had artists pop out from SoundCloud. Lil Tecca, Ian Dior, Snot, Lil Mosey. But SoundCloud at this point lost all of its community aspect. Kids were going on there and trying to get famous, trying to get signed. People weren't collaborating much. There wasn't much of a community anymore. It almost got too big. TikTok was emerging in popularity after Lil Nas X showed the world how to get a #1 song on the app. Now artists were heading over there looking for an opportunity. From 2020 until today, SoundCloud is still looked at as a place to start a career. Speaking just from the rap side only, the community aspect is pretty much gone. I can't speak for other genres and other communities, but not many underground shows with tons of emerging talent, not many collectives or groups creating waves, just a lot of individuals uploading their creations. It's not totally dead though. There's still millions of active users and tons of very talented artists on there, but the pop culture relevance of SoundCloud rap has dwindled to an all-time low. You have artists like Sofago, SSG Kobe, Yeet, Can, Summers, Autumn, Baby Santana, Young Chris, DC the Don, Midwest, and others that are still killing it on fire. But we can contribute a lot of their success to their songs going viral on TikTok. Most SoundCloud rappers today are getting poppin' on TikTok first. Remember when being a SoundCloud rapper was considered a derogatory term? And really they were just artists using a free online service to grow a fan base? Well, a lot of artists in 2020 and 2021
SoundCloud used to be the TikTok.
Use TikTok as a free online service to grow a fan base. But when they blow up, the gatekeepers of the underground call them TikTok rappers. rappers, devaluing their music because it got really popular on the app.
Yeah, they
so
do
we
the same
see
shit.
the
They do the
cycle
same
is
shit.
about to repeat, creating this
Yep.
curse that artists have to face when they have a viral song on the app. Ultimately, SoundCloud Rap changed rap music history. The only way we'll get anything like that again is if a group of really, really talented artists come together and build something genuine. Not for clout, not for money, just for the art and for the fans. But knowing how the internet works and how many more people are trying to become rappers, once people find out about a new way that artists are getting attention, it gets flooded and oversaturated so quickly that nobody else can benefit from it.
Okay, last thing I want to say about this is not even how I'm not even gonna say here how SoundCloud. I'm gonna say like how rap as a whole is doing like less numbers than it was before, and it like is no longer the #1 genre anymore. Every nigga that was going to push the culture forward either went to jail or died. Like niggas be like, oh, emo rap died. That shows you how impactful these niggas were. If two or three niggas like Peep, X, Juice were the real only lit niggas who were making that style of music, and they died, and that whole subgenre died, nigga. Like if you're like, imagine drill, right? How many drill niggas have died? Like say, I'm not gonna put that on artists, but say a big drill rapper died. If like 2 big drill rappers died and the whole subgenre of drill died, that shows you how impactful those niggas were. Every nigga who was pushing the culture and pushing rap forward and innovating it and innovating their sound died. So X, Juice, all of these niggas, Pop Smoke, they died. So there's nobody for the new generation to be grabbing inspiration from to develop a new sound. You know what I mean? Like look at it. They would have been the ones to revolutionize and create new sounds because they did that when they're here. Like Pop Smoke, bro. Pop Smoke, he went to the UK, saw their drill beats, brought it to New York, put the New York style on it, and made that a whole wave. 6 years later, over half a decade later, my nigga, half a decade later, Pop Smoke passed away. Has any nigga innovated that sound and made that sound better? No, they're all still rapping like the same way Pop Smoke was rapping half a fucking decade ago. There's nobody to come and innovate the sound no more, nigga. X was another nigga. He's gone, nigga. Now you see the other niggas, they trying to hop and do the shit he do. You see certain niggas will scream on shit and like, but it's not the same. So all the niggas who would have been inspiration for niggas to pull inspiration from died. So like going back, remember Kanye was the nigga, he introduced 808s and 808 and Heartbreak, and then there's Drake, Lil Wayne, all of them niggas, and all those niggas, right? That generation, Cole, Kendrick, that whole generation, all those groups of people, those were all niggas that our generation were able to come and like pull inspiration from and create their own sounds off of that. Like bare niggas were inspired by 808s and Heartbreak, and that led to the whole rise of 808s, and then they all were able to make their own sounds off of that. Imagine if that generation, Kanye, Wayne, and like Kendrick died, and it was just Drake and Cole or some shit. The shit would be totally different. That's what the fuck happened. So now all X, Juice, Pop Smoke, all them niggas are dead. TK locked up, Melly in jail, all type of shit. All these niggas are gone, right? Who do these people have to pull inspiration from? Cardi and Youngboy. Every nigga now who's coming up, all the young niggas coming up, who do they sound like? Cardi or Youngboy, my nigga? There's not a variety of people to pull inspiration from anymore because all those people died. And in turn, that's why, nigga, rap has not been the same. It's either niggas trying to sound like Cardi or niggas trying to sound like Youngboy, or it's niggas still using the same sauce that Pop Smoke brought half a decade ago and haven't innovated it at all. So like, bro, I don't know how this shit gonna get better, but bro, you know, rest in peace X, happy birthday X, rest in peace Juice, rest in peace people. Them niggas were gonna rest in peace Pop Smoke, rest in peace Matt. All these niggas played a part in pushing the shit forward, and with them gone, the shit suffered, nigga. It is what it is.
Something, baby, I like just how you blushing. And maybe we could bust it at the function. Turn nothing to something. Wish you could just see the horrors of my life may upbring.